Joe Rogan, a UFC commentator, believes elite fighters should join the UFC to fully realize their potential in MMA. He sees the UFC as the premier platform for fighters to prove they are the best. On his podcast, he discussed with MMA prospect Bo Nickal, who expressed a desire to join the UFC to build his legacy. Rogan agrees, noting that talents outside the UFC often can't fully showcase their skills. Despite other organizations like PFL acquiring Bellator, UFC remains the top choice for fighters seeking prestige and unmatched recognition in the sport.
I'm very happy that you decided to go with the UFC. Because no disrespect to the other organizations, there's very good fighters in the other organizations, but I often feel like they're wasting their career. Because I see these elite fighters that are fighting in Bellator and PFL, and I'm like, hey guys, no one's watching.
I know.
You know, I mean, some people are watching. You're getting a little bit of a fan base. I don't want to disrespect.
Right.
But there's a reality, and that, you know, there's the XFL, there's the CFL, and then there's the fucking NFL.
Yep.
And if you're not in the fucking NFL, are you really playing football? You know what I'm saying?
That's how I feel.
That's just how it is, man. If you're the UFC champ, you're the fucking man.
Exactly.
If you're the Bellator champ, I respect the shit out of those guys. I love them.
Absolutely. To me, when I was making that decision, it really wasn't a decision because I knew I was like, I'm going to be in the UFC. Like, that was always what I wanted to do.
And there's also like this feeling of being in the UFC that everybody who wants to be a fighter dreams of.
Oh, yeah.
You want to be there when Bruce Buffer is right in front of you. Go, it's time!
Ben Askren expressed disappointment in Tony Ferguson's performance at UFC 296 against Paddy Pimblett. Ferguson, once a formidable figure in the 155 pounds division with a 12-fight winning streak, has faced a steep decline, losing 7 consecutive fights. Despite these losses and being 39 years old, Ferguson shows no signs of retiring. Askren criticized Ferguson for not using his folk-style wrestling techniques during the fight, a departure from his known strengths.
Yeah, this is where, like, I don't know. You know, he says he wants to just keep fighting. Is it a monetary thing where he needs to keep fighting for money? I don't know, but I mean, Paddy does not seem to be that good. Tony, just like, he couldn't get off his back. I don't know what his plan was. It was like he is a wrestler. He grew up wrestling. He knows how to get up. That's folk style wrestling. But he chose to just be on his back for the entirety of the second and third round, right? And it's like, dude, get up. And then maybe even take him down. Like, Paddy is not an elite wrestler. You should be able to go get a takedown in this dude. Make it happen. So, yeah, I think Tony, man, you know, it's kind of his trajectory was so insane because it was like 13-0 or whatever the hell he was for a while, right? And now he's 0-7 or 0-8, and it's like, yeah, you need to be done, buddy.
Bo Nickal criticized Colby Covington for crossing a line with his trash talk before UFC 296. Covington, known for his provocative comments, targeted champion Leon Edwards with a personal remark about his deceased father. Nickal disapproved, suggesting this reflects poorly on Colby's character. In the fight, Covington lost to Edwards in a unanimous decision, marking his third failed attempt at an undisputed UFC title. Nickal believes Edwards deserves credit amidst the controversy surrounding Colby's comments.
Yeah, that was insane. I just feel like if you want to say something like that to somebody, it doesn't matter. You're just kind of a bad person.
Oh.
Like, I don't think you're, I mean, especially if you just double down on it over and over and
Just not the
just
move,
go with
yeah.
it. I just feel like that's just not good character. It's
Yeah.
low character. No, he said you thought this was a character. You thought that
Yeah,
was a
they
joke.
slowed it down, and
he was doubling down on it.
Yeah.
Leon did a great job. Leon made him, fight his fight. He controlled pretty much everything. He made a couple mistakes in the grappling scenarios, like a couple where he got taken down. But he got back up for the most part, aside from the last round, and he won the fight very easily. Didn't get hurt, didn't get really hit at all. So I think obviously Colby didn't fight well, but I think Leon fought well. I feel like as bad as Colby fought, Leon fought well. So you can't really take it away from him. because he went out there, he did what he needed to do.
Right.
It's not his problem that Colby couldn't follow a game plan or, you know.
Aljamain Sterling, moving to featherweight, faces Calvin Kattar at UFC 300, a potential title eliminator. Originally a bantamweight champion, Sterling's featherweight debut was almost against a higher-ranked Arnold Allen. However, Sterling's call for a rematch with Sean O'Malley, who took his bantamweight title, shifted plans. Allen was booked for UFC 297, making the Kattar match Sterling's most viable option for his featherweight debut.
You know what it is? They would have given me a fight bigger if there was an opportunity. One of the early names was Arnold Allen, but I did ask for the O'Malley rematch, and maybe that's why I didn't get the Arnold Allen fight. So I do think they would have given it to me. It just depending on it's just like the cards didn't align, and for whatever reason, Arnold's not fighting Movsar Evloev, and this is the fight that works out for me. Still a fun fight, still a guy that puts me in a great spot. If I win and I can look good doing it, and Alex Volkanovski wins, and depending on who wins between Arnold Allen and Movsar Evloev, depending on how that fight goes, I could be a shoo-in for a title shot. It just depends on the performance, and I'm gonna try to control what I can.
Chael Sonnen proposes a challenging new opponent for Paddy Pimblett, aiming to silence skeptics. After Pimblett's win over Tony Ferguson at UFC 296, Sonnen discussed potential matchups, including higher-ranked fighters and an unconventional choice, on his YouTube channel. This follows Pimblett's aim to face ranked competition in 2024.
Paddy Pimblett, how would you like to be the matchmaker there? Right, I mean, where do you go with Paddy and what do you do with him? There's a few things at play. If we're using history to be our trajectory to the future, there's a few things at play at Paddy that are not within the norm policy-wise for matchmaking. Paddy is in a spot where it turns out he's pretty damn good. Pretty big draw, he's a pretty big star. That UFC 300 starts to make a little bit more sense. And moreover, would you do the rematch with Gordon? I mean, that is a very sought-after match in our industry. People really want to see Gordon versus Paddy again, but Paddy's so new, so young in his career, right? I mean, there's times that you do rematches, and I'm just sharing with you. What would you do with Paddy? Like, if I was to tell you I'm going to put Paddy, I have the magic power, and I come in and I tell you guys I'm going to put Paddy against Dustin Poirier. How mad are you? I mean, how mad are you? You're not going to have seen it coming. You're going to say, I don't know what this is about. I'm going to say, yeah, but how mad are you? Are we fast-tracking this kid? We're going to see what he's got or not. Because if we are, Dustin Poirier would sure as hell answer those questions. Do you agree? Yeah, I agree. Or are you going to come from the other side? Hey, Paddy's not that good. He's all hype. Okay, great. Great. Well, Dustin's going to beat up the guy you don't like. I mean, all of a sudden, it does put a lot of the haters in a very tough position. Where when they're going to say they don't want to see Paddy versus Dustin, it's actually not about Paddy versus Dustin. What the haters don't want is for Paddy to be put in a position where he can prove them wrong. And if you got the jump on Dustin, it's proved wrong. You don't even have to beat Dustin Poirier, right?